Welcome to it, sports fans. It is the MKT Show. I'm MKT, and it feels unbelievable to have a show named after you. I just want to put that out there. As we're growing, as we're going on, I said I'll be adding friends, I'll be adding to the boys. And for those who didn't catch the show yesterday, the idea is to create somewhere where for 2 hours a day you can come and hang out with us, have a good time, not have a good time, just come and hang out with us. Hey, got a terrible coworker? Just put some earphones in, and then you don't have to listen to that whole thing. And your life's a little better if only just for 2 hours. Today we've got a special guest. I'm not alone. I'm going to start, of course, with my co-host, and he'll be on the show regularly, James Illingsley. James, you went to AFTA, huh? Wasted your parents' money for 4 years.
For the second day in a row, it's Illingsley.
Illingsley.
Look, we'll get to probably the 100th show or something, and we'll get there, right, with the surname pronunciation.
I think I've upgraded it. Illingsley is better than Illsley.
I just think Illingsley sounds awfully pretentious.
Yeah, I've corrected your grandparents, great-grandparents, and your parents. Illingsley is better than Illsley. I'm just saying.
I
think it's better. I think we should move on. James, how are you doing, pal?
I'm good. Feeling good today. Excited about today's show. A lot about Liverpool, so
yeah.
Good, very good.
Got the Liverpool shirt on.
I put it on purpose.
Got the bed hair going.
I tried not to do that on purpose.
It's going to happen. Hey, it'll get you. That's business. Next to him is a man I've known for a very long time. Good friend of mine. His name is Rogan Heel, dressed to the nines. Rogan, what's happening, pal? Big West Ham fan, by the way.
Up the Hammers. Love it.
Rogues, how you been?
Good. Thank you very much for having me here.
Hey, come on.
Loving the studio, loving the show.
Yeah.
Excited to chat a bit of sport, bit of nonsense.
Yeah. Bit of malarkey.
Yeah.
Rogan, not a big fan of 3D films, him and I, but I will tell you, and I'll tell you a story about how we once tried to bring down the whole of SuperSport's highlights package, and we actually spent, 5 hours that day at Geneva that day.
I mean, things may or may not have improved.
Yeah.
So whether that was down to our intervention or not, whether we shook some feathers in the lobby of SuperSport or not, I like to think we came in with a thunderous approach.
We did.
It was determined, and we were right at the end of the day. So we had a righteous cause. What can I say?
And not all, I think this is something that doesn't get out enough. Not all heroes wear capes. Some people are fighting for human rights. Some people are doing all of that. We were fighting for a better highlights channel. And I think it's those things that move society forward in my account.
Exactly. The fact that I can see the weekend's highlights on a Tuesday now is already a massive change in mindset and perception from SuperSport.
Yeah.
I don't know where they were getting their data from before, but they've got one more data point, which is the two of us being in their lobby.
And there you have it.
What do you do with that data? They must have done something.
Saving people. And that's the beginning of the show, by the way. We saved Rogan. Welcome. We're going to be chatting. Hey, what are we chatting about today? Listen, I've read it on social media. Lots of people saying Bruno, Cantona, that comparison. We'll chat a little bit about that, and I'll tell you my thoughts on that. Tell you my thoughts on the Jurgen Klopp situation. There is a situation there if you're a Liverpool fan. And then we'll talk some Test cricket and, of course, British and Irish Lions getting announced today. But I want to talk about rugby itself as a sport, as a professional. Are we where we want to be? We'll chat about all of that. Let's get into it. Let's start with Bruno Cantona. So we'll talk United. Listen, there's a famous saying, right? If you know any Cockney slang, they go, "You're the real McCoy." And if I have to ask if something is real or the genuine article, by the way, real McCoy, genuine article. If I have to ask, it's not. Whenever people say, is he world class? Too late. Like, you are not world class if I've got to ask. So this Bruno Cantona situation is absolutely asinine because I think we live with recency bias, right? In today's world, we get so much data, we get Twitter, it's all in our face what Bruno's doing every single week. Listen, let me tell you something. As a very, very self-centered person myself, I understand the dynamic of making myself better, my life better, but actually I don't make anyone else around me better because I'm quite a disciplined person. I stick to myself, but that doesn't work for everyone around me, actually. Bruno Fernandes, for all his numbers, listen, I've seen these numbers before. Let me tell you about a guy called Kevin Phillips. He won the Golden Boot in Europe, and you're not going to tell me now he's Pele. Like that's not how it works, this comparison. Eric Cantona came from Leeds and changed the face of British football. When he came from Leeds to United, the entire power shift, it was never the same again in that decade. Once he left Leeds, fly kicked a couple of people, but that's going to happen. You got to take that on. Is the league was changed forever. And by the way, another thing, Bruno's come into a better team. Now, the image of United under Fergie at that time was, oh, the kids were brilliant already. They were not. The kids were not brilliant already. Scholes wasn't Scholes, right? Keane had just come off that massive injury and actually wasn't fully going. I mean, they plugged, of course, Cantona in, and the rest was unbelievable history. Right from the back, we're going from right back. Neville wasn't Neville. So he came into that and took them to the next level. Bruno came into a side where they've broken the world record for a centre-back. They already had De Gea. They already had Pogba. They already had Martial, who was the most expensive teenager in the world. They already had Rashford, who everybody's telling me is the next Eusebio for whatever reason. So if anything, Bruno's come into a better team. The very next season, he's taken them from the Europa League into the Europa League. And by the way, they've lost to Istanbul, a Sunday league team from Istanbul, and Leipzig, who they beat 5-0. And Bruno played in all those games. So I don't want to hear excuses. Cantona came in straight away. And when you're the real McCoy, I never have to make excuses for you. I never have to say, yeah, but this didn't work for him. Listen, folks, there's this thing in life, right? People always say, oh, it was so easy for him because he was in a better team. Let me tell you something about having been around alpha males and alpha females. It is much harder to function in an environment where there is one word: expectation. I don't care if you're Leo Messi. If Messi wasn't delivering, Xavi Hernandez is not putting up with that, right? So when the great Eric Cantona came to United, the expectations were through the roof and he over-exceeded them. Bruno Fernandes has had no expectations, and Man United have gone from second to second now and the Europa League. That's what's happened. Another loss again in the FA Cup before they got to the final. So it's asinine to me, and I'm not biased to my generation. I like to think I'm pretty progressive, but I'm sorry. Folks, you have to win. The difference between recreation and sport is that in sport, we get to see a scoreboard and it's not Montessori. It matters. You have to win. Individual prizes are meaningless to me. Win the title, make the team better. And Bruno's got talent, by the way. So I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to hear, oh, he's not in the right team. They've spent truckloads. Cantona came in, they were winning, and then they still went to the next level. Please, do me a favor. I never want to hear Cantona and Bruno similar vibes. It's madness. Stop it immediately. Cantona was legendary. Bruno is emerging. One season doesn't make you great, folks. 5, maybe. Patrick Vieira did it over 5+ seasons. Keane, 5+ seasons. Gerrard, Lampard. I'm looking at a decade of greatness. I like Bruno Fernandes. I'm sorry. Stop using the word legendary for one season. I'm sorry. That just ain't it. That just ain't it. Rogan Heel, your thoughts?
Okay, well, what were the expectations of the team that Cantona came into? I only got into football after the time of Cantona. I never got the opportunity to watch him in a season. Obviously, I've seen the highlights packages. You got to fly kick a spectator to become legendary. Sometimes,
yeah.
It's an entertainment industry. So what were the expectations? If you look at the win records of them, similar situations when they both came into their teams. They were both sitting at about 40% win record over their last season or whatever it was. They've both kicked that win percentage up by about 20% in the 60%. So what was the impact that he came in based on the expectation? You said that United were expected to win the league when he came in already, and he achieved that. What are the expectations of United now? To stay second?
Yeah.
Are they actually expecting to win the league this season, next season, the season after that? When are United expecting to win the league?
That's a great question. Listen, that does change the whole dynamic. Are United now, do we just have to accept that Bruno's come in and this is what they are? The fact that he's got them in the top 4, is he delivering?
Yeah, you said is he overperforming? He's overperforming because the expectations were so low.
I think so.
Yet, as you say, out of the FA Cup, out of the Champions League, not a chance of within reaching distance of City in the title. So you've got all these improvements, but yeah, what is the point of the game? It's for the team to win.
Yeah, and I don't see United going to that. Like Cantona came in and it was like the world had changed. Like the landscape of the Premier League. Oh, no, it's over now. And I mean, Bruno's got help.
Yeah, and can you get that excited about individual players? I mean, the record of assists that Fernandes has matched with Cantona now. Another player has also reached that, Dimitri Payet at West Ham. Am I excited about Dimitri Payet getting assist record? No, because where's the team?
Yeah.
Are they cracking on? So can you get excited about an individual at the end of the day, or can you only get excited about your team?
Sure.
If Cantona came in and made the team exciting, gave them trophies, is that more? That's got to be more important. That's got to be the only basis of comparison, right?
Absolutely. For me, I don't understand this notion that because Bruno is hitting these numbers, and for one season, that's taking him to the next stratosphere, because we know like you're saying, Payet has done this. So I've seen this before. What I haven't seen is trebles before. Like, wow, that was wow. What, like, geez, doubles, League Cup doubles. Then you're starting to get into that Roy Keane sort of Cantona level where you come in, you plug in Henry. When he came in.
Look at a Kevin De Bruyne. Okay, are we comparing him to other players, or is he just cracking on, winning trophy after trophy after trophy? Would you say he's a better player than Fernandes? That's another debate. But the point is, you don't need to talk about him as an individual.
Yeah.
You can just look at his impact in the team.
No, he is the next level. James Ellingsley, your thoughts?
Look, I think, and I gave this some thought earlier. I think the Premier League, as well as the top 5 leagues, have changed since Cantona's days. It's become a lot more competitive, and I think it almost shows. You see, like with Bruno, I think these days you need a game-changing player. And yes, he has the potential to be that, but I don't see him being that now. There was a reason why Cantona was who he was. In my opinion, he was a game-changing player. Bruno controls the midfield immensely well. But I mean, outside of that, he scores penalties for me. I see him as the penalty guy. Honestly, I do.
Wow.
I've said it to my brother before, because he's a massive Man United fan, and it's always fun to make jokes with him as a Liverpool fan. I genuinely see Bruno Fernandes as a penalty taker, and that's how I see Man United scoring their goals week in, week out. Honestly, I do.
And it's also he's got help. My thing about the Bruno situation is, like, Luke Shaw's been unbelievable. They got Aaron Wan-Bissaka now. Like, they spent. So is it the club? Is it Bruno? But
who was around Cantona? I mean, he had help.
Yeah, no, he certainly had help. But then he delivered and went to for me, he took the kids to the next level.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he came in.
Do you know what it was like in the season that he arrived? The 2 seasons that we're making? This whole comparison is based on how much impact can a player make in 2 seasons. That's all we've got. That's not even. Fernandes 1 year, 1 calendar year, 1.5 seasons. Were people calling Cantona legendary in his first season?
They were not. Second season, won the league, and then that was it. We're off.
Can I ask you guys a question? So what potential did Man United see in Bruno when he was? I think he was at Sporting. What made Man United buy Bruno?
Well,
what was that?
Well, he was doing it. I mean, the Portuguese league, it's tough to kind of see, but he was the guy. Him and Rafinha, who's doing unbelievable things at Leeds right now. I think they were the 2 guys kind of doing it there. So I mean, for me, I don't like the comparison, because, again, I want my team to win, and I would say if Bruno had come into for lack of a better, had gone to Arsenal and was doing what he's doing now, awesome. And I just think sometimes, I don't know if you've experienced this in school or not, but, sometimes a kid who's on the bubble in a certain class gets moved down a class and then looks like a genius Like I kind of think like that's what's going on right now. Is that maybe
United is a step down from Sporting.
Are you saying United are the special child? Is that what you're saying?
Because I wouldn't, if that's what you feel, that's okay.
That's how I feel. Yeah. I'm allowed to. Yeah, listen, it was a lateral move.
Yeah.
Going from Sporting to Man United in 2021 or 2020 is a lateral move, and for me, I just don't see it, because everyone who keeps throwing the stats at me, it's like, guys, I saw Kevin Phillips win the European Golden Boot. Like, oh, okay, ipso facto, is he Thierry Henry now?
So how much did Arsenal win last season compared to United last season?
More, huh?
Right. And who was the Golden Boot last season?
Pierre-Emerick
Aubameyang.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the Golden Boot winner in a team that's not winning anything. Why are we not having that conversation? He's the new Henry or whatever it is.
Yeah.
This is a player performing well in a team that's not.
Yeah.
So what's there to talk about?
Well said. Well, hey, well bloody said. And the United thing, it's a bitter pill to swallow. I think we were talking about it yesterday. Is that everyone keeps saying the United way, like the winning way is the United way, and I said yesterday, no, you've got it all wrong. It was the Fergie way, like the Fergie, and now United 8 years later, I think are realizing that, oh bloody hell, it was the Fergie way. It wasn't the United way to be winning. It was 27 years, so it felt like it was the same thing. But here we are. And so Rogues, my question to you becomes this. How good are Man United right now? Like, do they need to talk to me about the centre-back pairing? Is that sustainable? Is it the coaching? Where would you go?
Well, I guess when you spent and invested that much in a player,
yeah,
it has to be sustainable, right?
Sure.
And you will justify it as much as you can.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the defensive record's been decent, right?
For sure. Yeah. I think top 4 defense.
Are they getting as much as they can out of their defensive players? Not just in terms of defense, but in terms of what is the Fergie way that we need to go back to? How much play came out of the defense or build-up play, that sort of thing. Is that happening? Wan-Bissaka, is he solid enough to get you through a Champions League semi-final?
I don't love him.
Sure. Is he defensively solid? He's doing a lot on the attack. It doesn't seem impenetrable.
That's the
Whereas if I'm looking at City this season, they're slotting defenders in left, right, and centre, and they're all impenetrable. You've got Diaz, Stones, Laporte trying to get a game in.
Every now
switching
and then.
between Cancelo and Walker. Walker probably the best athlete in the Premier League.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. He's an animal.
And you slotting these players in, all of them feel like first choice players. Do United have that kind of depth in defence? Is Harry Maguire the best centre back in the Premier League?
I don't think he's. I don't think he would be the best centre back in like the first division, if I'm honest. I don't back him at all.
So would you take Harry Maguire over Joe Gomez?
I would take Joe Gomez any day of the week.
Who's the new Turkish-German kid that you bought? Kablak or whatever his name is.
Kabak or whatever. Yeah. Every day of the week.
Over Harry Maguire, huh?
Absolutely.
Oh, no bias there.
I do not. Dude, I would take Connor, what's his name? Connor Cody?
Cody?
Yeah. I would take him over Harry Maguire.
Wow. He is in the England squad. I don't think Harry made it. Old Mykonos there. Hey?
Mykonos.
I don't think Harry's in the squad.
Is Mickey out?
Yeah, I think he's out. Yeah. Hey, Connor Cody. Yeah, he's the captain. He'll give you some leadership at the back there.
Yeah.
But I do want to go back to what you were saying, and I want to finish off on like the rest of the side. I don't know if you've seen in the big games, they playing like 6 at the back, right? Fred and McTominay. Like, what's going on there? That was just Roy Keane at a stage.
Yeah.
Roy Keane did that by himself.
Yeah.
Like, what do we do about that? Because have you seen how deep they are in the big games?
Very deep. But, effective on the counter-attack, pretty much. I think Rashford, the new Eusebio.
Yeah. I like that.
Although I read an article saying he's the most valuable player in the world. Have you heard,
I
heard
saw
this
that.
talk?
I saw that.
Have you heard this talk of him being the most valuable
That's malarkey.
player?
That's malarkey. That's like, and Man United fans just cannot get enough of Marcus Rashford, huh?
Yeah. Look, he's a good lad.
Yeah.
Just a good lad. Is that all he is?
Hey, feeds the kids. Feeds the kids, yeah.
Feeds the
He
kids.
does,
He's
he
off the
does.
field. His branding is strong.
Mm.
He's got he's got the backing of the same. What are they called? Siuka Lisa's new management.
Oh yeah, Rock Nation,
Rock Nation.
Sport or whatever. Yeah.
You know, so does that speak for itself?
I guess it is what it is, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I haven't watched too much of United in the big games. I don't find it an exciting fixture.
It's not a big game anymore.
You know, it's not an exciting fixture for me. It feels like it's missing a Cantona.
It is. Keane, Cantona. Like, remember, it used to be appointment viewing. Like, oh no, it's Vieira versus Keane. Oh, Man United, Arsenal. Like, it felt like that, you know? Like, you knew in the dressing room or in that tunnel, it was going off already then. But like now, I think between those two sides, like, let's just use those, your traditional top four. I think United, like, who's the guy I'm going to go, I have to watch this for them? Like, back then, you hated United, but you want to watch, I want to see if Roy Keane's going to go off.
Yeah.
Right? I want to see if what Beckham's going to do from 30 yards, you know? Like, is Giggs going to do one of those 30-yard mazy runs and bang it, slot it in the top corner, you know?
Who's doing that in this season?
Nobody.
You look, Fernandes has scored some crackers. Are you expecting him to score crackers? Not really.
No. You're not.
So I don't know. It's a tough one.
What's realistic for United, would you say? Like, with the current team, they have, I think most people, because it becomes an Ollie in or out situation, right? And I think which is, okay, whatever it is what is realistic for this team in your mind? Like, should they be happy being like third?
It's, look, I think they are safe to stay in the Champions League, probably.
Top four, huh?
I think they're probably safe to stay there. You know, all these teams, they all have the capacity. If you look at Chelsea's team, if you look at Liverpool's team, obviously City, you always feel like if they just get it right, they're going to run away with the season. And it happens. Like, City went on that run this season, Liverpool last season, and the season before, really. Yeah. Chelsea haven't done it yet, but you feel like with those players, if they get it right, you know, does this United team have the capacity to, with those players, turning it on? Can they turn it on for a season and totally walk away with it?
Yeah.
Does this team have that capacity? Or do they feel more like a keep it going, steady on, top four?
Yeah. And I guess the problem is, what do you do with the Anthony Martial situation? Like you said earlier, is once you've invested so much in a player, remember at 18, they paid £57 million for him. Like, what do you do now? Just admit, like, oh, we made a mistake.
Yeah.
Or just move on. Because what do you do at the striker department?
Yeah, I mean, you can get Cavani in to get some goals, but that's not speaking to a long-term ambition. You know, that's not talking to Cavani's not going to crack on and get Golden Boot next season and give you the title. Yeah. So you're patching holes. Where's the spine?
That's a good point. And what do you do there? Like, is there an upgrade? Because Haaland's not going to Man United, right? Like, let's just get that out the way.
That's not happening.
No.
Maybe if they get Suchek, now you're talking.
All right. Man, that's awesome. Listen, that's Man United. And to the young kids, I never want to hear Bruno Fernandes being compared to Eric Cantona again. Listen, just give me an FA Cup. Here we go. League Cup. Give me a League Cup.
So that's the most common counter argument, right? Is you need the trophies, right? So that's seems to be the theme of Fernandes can't be compared because of his lack of actual success. Do you think that is the strongest argument? And do you think that argument, should it change, should he start winning, that the comparison could be back on?
Do you know what I think is when you're truly great is just by your very presence, you lift the standard of everyone, right? Is, again, I'm going to go back to the Kevin Phillips, James Beattie. These guys were doing it. For me, I've never been as big as everybody else on Shearer, right? Is great. It's awesome that you're doing your own thing. But what's everyone else doing in a team sport? When you plug, like Ronaldo left Real Madrid, right? They didn't really lose in terms of the quality of the players in the dressing room. They still brought in quality, but the guy, you got to be the guy, because it's not enough to be good at football. Like when Cantona's there, it is unacceptable to lose. Fergie leaves United. It's not about United didn't change. The bricks didn't move. The stadium didn't move. Fergie left. Like that aura of it is unacceptable to lose. Like, and even, I mean, Liverpool to although they weren't winning, it was 30 years. But when Gerrard left, you could feel that even that expectation for the club, like plummet. Keane left. Ferdinand left. Rooney left. And, so for me, my argument for Bruno is character matters so much. Is that for me, Cantona is when you're Henri, when you're Tevez for you guys, for West Ham, of course, is when you're that guy. And I don't need to explain it. Everyone understands. Cristiano Ronaldo's in the room. It's understood that this is the level. For me, is a better argument than just trophies. And naturally, when you're that, trophies are the byproduct for me. That's why I always go to trophies. Is that just your mere presence? I mean, Ronaldo, they won 3 Champions Leagues in a row. Yeah. He left. What's it been? Malarkey. That's what I'm saying.
Malarkey.
Xavi leaves Barcelona. I love Leo Messi. But here we are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just think that's important when we talk about, Bruno's a very good player. But sometimes we sneak people into great conversations when it's not just about what's on the pitch for me. Is what other elements are you doing? Because dressing rooms are complicated places, right?
Are there younger players that you could call a great player that fit the mold? Could you call Kylian?
No. Haaland, absolutely. Kylian,
you reckon?
Yeah. Kylian's had 2 seasons now of big chances, like win the French league, right? What happened last season?
Yeah.
Like, that's your moment. And sport is about moments. Mbappe missed his moment last year. They should have beaten Bayern Munich because they had a few chances as well.
Yeah.
And so Neymar I've written off completely. Like, as soon as, he's not it.
Yeah.
But Mbappe, for me, I'd rather take Haaland because I can see at Dortmund, that's, that we're doing it there.
Yeah.
And I think he's got that, that thing. So young players below what age? 23.
Below Fernandez's age. Because, the argument to say he's not a great is because he hasn't had the time to achieve greatness yet. But you're talking about a character, a presence. So is there someone younger than him out there doing that, showing that kind of character? Someone that say this could be a Cantona.
Are
you saying
question.
that Fernandes could be a Cantona?
No, I don't think he can.
See, that's what you're saying. You're saying he's not off that level, just that aura that you've spoken about.
Yeah.
Which is different to the most arguments, which is no, when he starts winning trophies, then you can recompare. Maybe you can.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, that gives him some credibility.
So who has that aura that you're talking about? You've mentioned Haaland.
In today's game?
In today's game.
Oh, I think Vincent Kompany had it. I guess he's gone.
Yeah.
Trent Arnold. I think Trent Arnold. I know I'm saying it as a Liverpool fan. But
VVD might have it.
You mean the guy not in England?
No. Trent, come on. Let's get serious here.
We'll get to Liverpool, guys. We'll get there.
I mean, what was that?
So I think my mic broke or something.
Trent Alexander. So I think that's a great question. Like, of the young guys, because to lift a club, to put a club on your back, and I think we've seen it with Pogba. Like, he couldn't do it at United. It was too much. Yeah. It was like, because sometimes people don't realize what makes Messi and these guys great. And I'll come back to some of the youngsters that I think possibly could be. But a lot of people go, they always do the stats thing, but they forget that Ronaldo carried United at 23 years old. Like, to be the World Player of the Year. Okay, now you're all the branding as well, by the way. Oh, by the way, whenever we're in China, you're the guy. Like, people aren't comfortable with that. Not everybody's comfortable with that role.
Yeah.
Because some guys just want to play football. Bruno could just be a guy, I want to play football. But Cantona, the star, interviews, put me on the branding. That's a whole other level of expectation. Leo Messi and Ronaldo have embraced that for 15 years.
Yeah.
Like, and also, by the way, please score 40 goals a season. Like, that's not negotiable.
Yeah.
And in the off season, can we please go to China, Brazil, Italy on all the tours? Like, people forget that whole background thing, is Cantona embraced that. And Bruno, not yet. And I don't think, maybe he doesn't want it. And I'm not saying that's a knock on him. I'm just saying, those guys are a different breed. For me, the only guy, honestly, off the top of my head that I can think of is Haaland.
Yeah.
Like, he seems to, he steps into it. And then it's like, oh, what are you doing on the field?
Yeah.
Oh, no. So you're literally the greatest young striker European football's ever seen numerically. Like, I'm seeing that.
Yeah.
And you're still, what you are in interviews. So I don't really see any youngsters. Who else is there? Who, like, that level, with that personality?
Yeah, that can completely, as you say, encapsulate and be the brand, be the club.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Because we've all been in sales teams, right? Or at least seen sales teams. Like, we've seen, everybody knows who the saleswoman or man is. Like, it's clear. You know, they bring the personality. They're never late. Like, they also, the other thing I think that's great about Ronaldo and Messi is they've got no interest in being popular. Like, hey, I want to win. You know, you're Ronaldo, I think, and Messi, you've just seen him fight like a court battle with the board of Barcelona to get them kicked out. That all play. But that's like, I want to win.
Yeah.
And you got to be willing to also, you know, when you want to win, you're going to have to make unpopular decisions. People that were friends, you're going to have to, you know, there's no way there's roster stuff happening at Barcelona without Leo Messi approving that.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be able to do that stuff as well and carry that sort of that weight, you know. So for me, I don't see anybody else right now. Not on that level. Like, you know, I always say that level with character is so rare because some people are just talented. Not everybody wants to win. Like, I think we see this in our own lives, is we see people with potential everywhere. But for some people, they're not ambitious. Winning's not that for them. I'm just talented. I'll pitch up at work and pick up a paycheck. I think football's very much the same in that sense. And I would put Bruno more in, I just want a ball, dude. Like, I don't want to be Ronaldo and you're putting me up everywhere. And then there's, because he's not getting involved in the conversation, but there's that sort of fan conversation. And carrying a club that ain't for everybody, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I mean, you saw it at West Ham, right? Dimitri Payet, he was there for a short time, and he like embraced it. That bubbles, it's too much for a lot of guys.
Yeah,
it's too much. I'll use one last example if people don't understand it. I don't know if you remember, Antonio Valencia wore the Man United number 7 shirt for a season, and then went back to 25. Now people don't think that's a thing, but that's a thing.
Yeah.
Like that jersey number, that's not just you get to wear it and go out and play, and then we got to move you to right back because you're not good enough for right wing. That ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
You're wearing 7 at United, please. You know what I mean? So that side of the game, I think, again, I credit Cantona, I credit Henry, I credit these other guys that I call absolute animals. For me, is how I look at it.
What about likes of a David Silva? Right? Was he? I mean, he was quiet. He went about his business. You wouldn't see him as the face of the club necessarily, but probably the most valuable player for City over the last 10 years.
100%.
So would Fernandes to a Silva be a more apt comparison? Not in terms of their play style, but maybe in terms of their place in the team or value to the team.
I would agree. If Bruno Fernandes gives me 5 seasons of what he's giving me now, because David Silva gave me 10 seasons of what Bruno's giving me now, then absolutely. Like, again, also self-awareness is, like you're saying, David Silva, I'm just here to play.
Yeah.
Like, I'm magnificent. I'm the best in the league. That's awesome. He was doing that. And for me, I think that's well said, is that's a better comparison, is compare him to that, because that's a notch down, right?
Yeah.
Is like Vincent Kompany was carrying that entire thing by himself. Like, he was like a president. It was like having a president as your club captain in a company. We haven't seen that for me since Vidic, you know? Again, these are, I mean, we're starting to talk about Bruno in that echelon. Like that. That's not fair on him either.
Yeah.
I don't think. You know, maybe he just wants to play football. I need to learn Portuguese. I'll ask him. All right. Let's. Oh, Rogan, do you know what? Before we move on, we're going to talk about Liverpool. So Rogan's a big film aficionado, right? So I've never met anybody. There's somebody who works here called Dory. She knows a lot, but I've never met anybody who's into film. And you know, Rogan, we always speak about films and things like this. And one thing, James, do you watch films in 3D? Have you ever watched 3D film?
I have. I'm not a fan of them.
Talk to me about it.
I don't understand the appeal. I get the whole, the put on the glasses and let's go to the movies, and then they do the cool effects where the water splashes in your face or the bird flies into you. I get it.
You're talking 4D now.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm not
4D.
When
That's
you
what the
put
wind.
The glasses on, and then like something happens and it's supposed to come towards you if you're watching it in 3D.
Yeah.
Right. I get the appeal. Doesn't excite me massively. I can live without it.
Rogan.
I can't live with it.
Yeah. No, well said. Because what's going on there? Why do I need... Like, talk me through. Why can't you live with it?
Okay, there's like the Snyder cut of Justice League.
No.
Which is like, okay, the director he's spent, and they've invested hundreds of millions of dollars in creating this vision for this person, and then they decide to change it, recut it, whatever. You think every time you put on 3D glasses, you're not seeing what the director is seeing
No.
because you're wearing sunglasses. It's darker. He spent years hiring the right cinematographer, plotting out his shots,
Yeah.
and now I'm going to sit and wear dark glasses, and I'm not seeing what he made.
Yeah.
Also, I feel a little bit, like an outcast when I go watch these 3D movies because I have to wear the glasses on my glasses.
Glasses
so I can
on
see
glasses. Let's just
going on.
marginalize massive. We got over glasses prejudice.
Yeah. No.
Decades ago.
No, but no. Well, yeah. Hold the phone right there. We did not. 3D movies. I'm James Cameron. Put glasses on if you want to enjoy my movie.
Yeah, put glasses on your glasses
Yeah.
if you want to enjoy this.
And is that the society you want to live in? Because wearing glasses it's shameful already. People are calling you nerd. I mean, James.
4 eyes.
Yeah,
You know,
4
like
eyes.
when you watch a movie at home, right? You're watching it and you get your home version of the movie,
Sure.
right? And you're like, okay, the only thing that can make this better would be if I saw it on the big screen. Take
Yeah.
this, put it on the big screen. But now that's not even an option because if I want to go see it on the big screen, now I've got to wear dark glasses. I've got to get nauseous.
Yeah.
I've got to, my glasses have to bump into other glasses. So there's no actual best version of that movie. Where's the best version?
It's not.
Doesn't exist.
These are the things. Hey, Rogan Hill. everybody.
These are the things that keep us up at night, right?
Oh, Rogan Hill. That's why he's here. There's no actual best version of the movie. I've never actually thought about it that way.
Like, where
It's
is
a
it?
good point, actually.
You've nailed it. I can't watch it at home. And now I'm going to go to the cinema, get nauseous. I don't want to get nauseous.
I don't want to get nauseous. I don't want to wear dark glasses in the cinema.
That's not what I want to do. That's not what I want to do. All right, listen. Hey, more of that. We'll
Let's not,
have.
of course, discount the plastic waste generated from all these temporary glasses that end up inside the fish.
The
And
lawyer
you are
coming
a
in.
social
ladies and gentlemen.
justice
You know,
warrior
let's not
points.
forget.
The lawyer
You know
coming in.
how many tuna fish are dying because of our need to make our movies worse? Is the takeaway I want to get from that.
And hey, you've opened up a can of
Preach.
proverbial worms.
Preach.
Because now you've gotten into my food is dying, and I can't watch a good movie.
Yeah.
What's money for? Well, why am I working?
You know, what am I weighing up here? The need to make my movies worse versus the need to destroy the ocean. Why am I weighing these two things up?
Why are those my only two options? Surely there's something in between the tuna dying and my nausea.
Guys,
Surely.
I'm going to be honest. I think we're sinking into a rabbit hole over here.
No, but these are hey, this is the stuff that keeps me up at night. I want to watch. Okay, finish off on this.
Where does it end? Now you've got to watch sports in 3D.
And I'm vomiting every time my team scores
Every time your team scores, you're vomiting.
because it feels like Bruno Fernandes is shooting in my face.
You know.
That's not.
Now
gonna
imagine VAR in 3D. How more obnoxious it is.
These are,
Now
listen, you've nailed it. Let's finish off on this because James, I think you need a real life example. Avatar's coming out 2028 at this stage, huh? The next one.
Lord knows, yeah.
Yeah. So now I don't have an option where I can go and just enjoy the guy who's actually a paraplegic, but he's walking somehow and he's blue now. Forget what his name is. Jacob Sully. No.
He's now an overgrown Smurf, is what you're trying to say.
So now, but I can't do that.
No,
I've,
we can't do that.
and then, you know what? I'm feeling a little sad about that. Let me go get some tuna at the shops. Oh, I'm ill. There's plastic in there because of the glasses.
Glasses plastic, specifically bits of red and blue or whatever it looks like now.
Yeah. Hey,
Now it's just dark.
and we've solved this.
And here we are, ladies.
And here we are. Hey, back to some sport. Listen, Liverpool. We were talking about it yesterday, a little bit with James, but I want to talk about Jurgen Klopp. So let me get into this. So I've always kind of had a view on relationships, and let me put it to you this way: some people are better as a holiday fling. All right, and if you don't know what a holiday fling is, because you either live under a rock or you've never been on holiday. That happens, by the way. Not everybody's rich like you, James.
What?
So some people are better as a holiday fling. Some people, though, because there's other levels, some people are better as a girlfriend, right? And some people like to masquerade as though they want to get married. But some people are only good enough to be a girlfriend, a life partner. Some people are good enough to be a wife, right? It comes to a self-awareness thing. And it's a personality thing. So what some high energy people don't realize, and I'm becoming more aware, is I can be quite a high energy guy. is you wear down people around you. It's not that they hate you. That's not the reason. Maybe people want to spend less time around you, or it's like, yeah, you get invited to every third barbecue or braai or whatever you call it, wherever you are. It's not because you're a horrible person, but energy is corrosive, right? It can be corrosive. And here's the thing about high energy people you need to learn is when you break up high energy person, let's just say you're in a romantic relationship, it's never going to be great after that. Because genuinely what happens is people stay together too long, and high energy people, you know what you become? You become resentful. The other person resents you. It's like, you make me tired. And now it's an effort to break up with you. Not everybody's meant to be your wife. Like, people need to hear that. And it's horrible because I live in middle class society, and every Tom, Dick and Harry thinks this. Oh, we've been together for 5 years. We have to get married now. Now, listen, I don't want to hear from the guys in this room. I don't want to hear from anybody at home. Well, I'd love to hear from people at home. But we kind of know the prototype, right? Is everybody starts getting nervous after 5 years. Is, oh, has he not proposed to you? What's wrong? What's wrong with him? Is he wasting your time? Get him to move on. Not everybody should be a wife. Here's my point. Jurgen Klopp is somebody who, he is corrosive by his very personality. He's awesome. But folks, everything comes at a cost. That high energy, and he calls it heavy metal. I've always said to people, I can listen to jazz, 100 songs in a row. Hip-hop, 100 songs in a row. I can listen to 2 heavy metal songs in a year, maybe. But like, maybe, at a stretch, at a distance. Like, I'm at a braai, and the guys like heavy metal music. I'll maybe listen to it. I want to listen to it like that. I don't need it in my face all the time. Jurgen Klopp comes with consequences. And by the way, in life, we are who we are. It's the third cycle playing itself out exactly the same. If you go and look how he left Mainz, they were worn out. They were going into relegation. Then he went to Dortmund. We all saw how that last season played out. That's not a slight on Jurgen Klopp. We are who we are, right? It's not a slight on him. But when you're that high energy and it's heavy metal and it's all the time, people become fatigued of you. Folks, I'm sorry, it's not his fault. And then the end is never pleasurable because you've eroded anything in terms of sentiment towards positivity in the relationship. Jurgen Klopp's not a bad person. But let me tell you how this thing's going to go. It's going to go down in flames. And the worst thing you can do in a relationship is stay too long. People stay in relationships a year too long, 2 years too long, and then you want to blame the other person. Liverpool, you've had it good. You know, people always, we all want these perfect relationships. It's like, oh, you know what? I could have loved him more, loved her more. For goodness sake, enjoy the best times. But with somebody like Jurgen Klopp, it burns white hot, but it ends. And when it ends, we've seen it twice. We've seen Mainz, we've seen Dortmund, and people are who they are. I don't know what Liverpool are waiting for, right? I said to Liverpool fans about 2 months ago, move on then. It's over. With people like Jurgen Klopp, there is no coming back. It's not a commentary on him. He's awesome. I love him. But listen, I love bacon and I love ice cream. I don't want them together, right? There's a lot of things I love. It's over for Jurgen Klopp. If you are Liverpool, move on. And, you know, the greatest thing about people that are confident, that I love, my friends, I like to hang around confident people. It's the ability to move on when something's over. Isn't there, you know, you always, you know, these single people that always want to get in a relationship. We can smell the desperation on you. And it's ugly. It's ugly. Nobody wants to be with that person. For Liverpool, it's been 30 years where you've never won anything. So you know what you are. There's certain people who can't do this. Some people don't like to be alone. And especially if you come out of a horrible relationship and you come into one where it's actually a decent boyfriend, not even a great boyfriend, and they treat you decent. And you're like, oh my God, I'm never letting go of this. Even though he drinks on Sundays, he's got the boys around every day, and really it's not an ideal relationship. And it's over. You know it's over. But oh my God, what if I'm on my own? Liverpool are showing right now a lack of self-confidence. But you can't blame them. It's been 30 years of pure misery. Don't give me Gerard Houllier with the fake, 3 trophies. What are you talking about? Give me Rafa. That wasn't a treble. That was nothing. The standard at Liverpool, I was told, before colour television was invented, was the league. Kenny Dalglish. Yes, most of you kids who use the YouTube on your small screens have no idea who that is. He was the last guy who won a title for Liverpool. But it's time to move on. Have some self-confidence. Your Liverpool Football Club. It's time. With Jurgen Klopp, it always ends this way. James Ellingsley. The reboot's going to take at least 3 years, by the way. If you reboot with Klopp, understand that you're not winning the league for 3 years because you're going to have to get rid of guys because I think this dressing room's tired of his voice. That's not on him. It happens with those extremely demanding people. Your thoughts on Jurgen Klopp?
Sure. Goodness. I don't know. I think, look, with this whole discussion with Liverpool, I'm gonna try and be as unbiased as possible.
Oh well, that worries me because it's like people that say, "Let me be honest with you," and then are you being honest?
I want to give my unbiased opinion on the whole Jurgen Klopp thing. I do think after our conversation yesterday, he has tired them out. I think I don't know if it's the tactics that aren't working anymore or that whole heavy metal football that's not working anymore. But I just feel like something isn't clicking at the club. We're playing clubs like, Brighton and Hove, and
Albion.
we're struggling as Liverpool. How is that possible? I think there's this. They've lost sight of what they want to achieve as a club.
Which is what?
I mean, obviously, Premier Leagues and Champions League count, right? For the most part. But when it comes to things like, when was the last time Liverpool won a League Cup? I think it was 2007 or something. Last time we won an FA Cup, probably, I don't even know.
Yeah, years ago, yonks ago.
But these are still trophies.
Yeah.
I think we struggle to cut our losses. We're at a point in our season where we are out of the title race, for sure.
Sure.
I think a while ago.
Yeah.
Why didn't we cut our losses back then and say, hey, guys, let's change what we're going for and at least try and finish the season with silverware in the League Cup or the FA Cup? Yes, you're playing teams like Barnsley or Salford City.
Yeah.
But why isn't there that change? I don't think it's too much Jurgen Klopp's problem. I think he's very much controlled by the board. And like I said to you yesterday, he can't just go to the board and say, I want 3 superstars to replace Virgil, Salah, and, whoever else.
Yeah.
He can't do that. I think the Liverpool board is very, very strict when it comes to managerial commands or demands.
So what would you do? Because you have 2 options, right? Is you keep Jurgen Klopp or you reboot, and that means a whole new cycle now. Like the guys that are in now, you probably lose what? You're going to have to pick between Salah and Mane. Like I just think one of those 2 you're going to have to let go. You don't know if Virgil's going to be the same, by the way. Like a big part of his game was the pace thing.
Sure.
And the ACL, we all know. Like, so what would you do? Keep Klopp or give him another 350 million and say, we'll wait 3 more years to win the league?
You see, that's the thing. That's also where I think we might have to cut our losses. I don't think firing him would be the worst move because he's already made it public that when his contract runs out in 23 or 24, he's not returning to manage the club. And he's even said that nobody must phone me for like a year because I'm not interested in any jobs. He's taking that year off completely. So why are we, if things are not working now, why are we still wasting our time with him? Why don't we start the reboot now or at the end of the season? I think end of the season would probably be the best move because it avoids that whole disruption mid-season and that whole, changing into a whole manager's mindset. I'd be happy to see him go. I'm not going to lie. He's done wonders for the club. And I never thought I would be happy to see Jurgen go, but I do think we're wasting our time at this point.
Jeez, not grateful, huh? Been 30 years, guy gets your title. Get the hell out of here.
Rosie, you're the current champion.
Yeah. The current, get the hell out of here. What, for 30 years, we didn't do anything. You came in here, gave us a Champions League title and a league title. Get the hell out.
Even on the YouTube, someone says on our live stream, we'll have to wait another 30 years for Liverpool to win the league again.
Hilarious.
I'm
without Klopp, is that what you're saying? Is that what they're saying?
I have no idea. But I look, like I said, Steven Gerrard, I'm just saying.
Rogan, we'll get to the Steven Gerrard thing. I saw what your face did there. Talk to me about Klopp.
Okay. Interesting hot take on the energy being a problem. as human beings, we all are stuck in patterns, and you can trust the patterns of someone's past to predict what's going to happen in the future. Right?
Absolutely.
You are pointing to a pattern of decline in these clubs and a burnout and everyone getting over each other, too high energy, too difficult. You've said you can't listen to rock music. You can listen to it twice in a year, but let's not forget those 2 rock concerts were the 2 best concerts you've been to.
Sure.
In 30 years.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well
best
said.
gigs of your life. So things, it does seem like the problem is amongst the mentality of everyone. Why have Mane and Salah, there seems to be some weird tension there that was be able to, and maybe it's always been there, and maybe the results, or do they feel like they need to evenly distribute goals between each other? Is that more of a focus than scoring and winning?
Yeah, good question.
Is that more of a focus? Because I've seen weird lack of confidence in taking chances, looking for other passes, that maybe there's a strange energy in the air.
Yeah.
And maybe it is a time where you get settled into a manager, and things that shouldn't be important. If Tuchel's coming in, he's saying, I don't care what everyone thinks they're doing. This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And that's the direction maybe you need as a player. Maybe there's this air of, okay, are we doing it right? Are people getting left behind? Should we be, are players making decisions and not manager? Are they contributing to the mentality or the game plan where they shouldn't? Something's going on.
Yeah.
He's obviously been seeming unhinged. I don't know if he's always seemed unhinged.
I think when you win, right? Everybody loves a winner.
Yeah.
It's like also internally is when you win, that tension between Mane and Salah. There was one incident last season, and I actually said on the show was, that's a problem. There was an incident where Mane came off the field, and it was in the paper. He's not passing me the ball, and I don't know if you remember it, but he threw his shin pads, and I was like, oh no, because if you stop winning, that becomes a problem. If you win, a friend of mine always said, winning's the best in any form of life. Winning's the best makeup.
Yeah.
Winning is makeup.
Yeah.
Right? All the blemishes, we can cover it up if we're winning. Now they're not winning. And it's also not winning. It's a disaster.
Yeah. And also, talking about his style, he's had that sort of patriarchal style of like, I'm the dad of the team.
Yeah.
You're my lads, and I'm sure when you start performing and winning and you want to take ownership of your achievements, that gets old.
100%.
You don't want you don't want to be winning because your dad you followed your dad's instructions. You want to be your own person. Maybe that type of mentality is good for bringing people up from something that they from a position they were into something great. But maybe there's a tension there in living in that greatness, taking ownership of it as it's a difficult relationship. I think it's a difficult style, difficult mentality. Hearing Liverpool fans saying they want to get rid of Klopp already, during the season where they are currently champions, doesn't seem right. But if that train is heading in one direction, then as you say, why wait? Why delay? Why see? Does he have the energy and the interest, and do the players have the energy and interest to rebuild the squad? What does rebuilding a squad mean? It means people that you've been champions with need to go, and new people need to come in. And you identify, if you look at the Champions League winning and league winning team, that was an unchanging team. Those 11 players, you knew who that first team was. There's when you start messing with that, there was never a need to define who were the key players of that team. Everyone had a role to play. So now when you start mixing and matching the team, you're breaking a lot of those bonds. Can you do it in the same environment, or do you need a new person to come in? I'm only saying questions. I'm only posing questions here.
Hey, philosophy. You're somewhat of a football philosopher.
I have no answers.
You're posing the people are saying already the Socrates of the football world. Because you're not answering questions, you're posing bigger questions.
I'm posing bigger questions. I'm saying the less you know, the more you know.
Yeah. And I know the one you were going for there. Your thoughts, James Illingsley?
So do you guys think that us winning a Champions League and a Premier League has been a lot to sort of handle as a team? I don't know if that's maybe had any impacts on our performances. I think maybe it's gotten to although you see most of the Liverpool players, they don't seem like that arrogant bunch, right? There's a couple that do, for sure. But they don't seem like the bunch of players where fame would go to their heads very easily.
Although having said that, right, I think you're asking a good question. And Rogan, to your greatness thing is, sometimes we forget that sportsmen are people.
Sure.
Across the board is everybody responds the same to adversity. Like if you get knocked down, everyone has to get up and try harder. And not everybody responds the same to success. And to your point, Rogan, that dynamic of dad, son, and now you can't talk to Mo Salah like you did. He's a Premier League and Champions League champion now. Like as you're saying, it happens. We've all got parents. We know our parents struggle to speak to us as that 16-year-old. And sorry, I'm a 35-year-old now who's got a mortgage.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me. We know what it's like. Like, we want them, as you said beautifully, to kind of like, I'm this now. I know to you, I still look like the child. But now we're at another level. And also, winning, people don't respond to winning the same. And people always say, hey, there's a great sports saying is, sleeping on silk sheets will make you soft, right? Some sportsman is when you get comfortable. And now, if Mo Salah is starting to believe that he's, the great thing about these Ronaldos is Ronaldo, it's clear. Messi, it's clear. Beginning of the season, they start at zero.
Sure.
Some of these guys want to start behaving like you're a Champions League champion and you're entitled to greatness. This is what happens, right? And I think you're asking a good question there. Is the winning dynamic might have changed things internally, and then it's.
I think maybe there's a difference. There's a lot of power in setting a particular goal, and like the Springboks in the World Cup, how it was a very short goal, and you could focus your energy and focus people's attention on that. Winning this league title, for example, you don't have to ask any questions further than that. Here's the goal. You're not asking what happens beyond that.
Yeah.
If you look at what is motivating Pep Guardiola, Manchester City, they're not looking at a league title. They're saying, how many league titles are we winning over 5 years? What are our 5-season goals?
Yeah.
What are our 10-season goals? It's about, okay, we've won, but we actually haven't achieved our goal yet because our goal is 3 titles in 5 years.
Yeah.
That's our goal.
Yeah.
And so you can maintain that focus over a longer period of time, perhaps, as opposed to this single title of Liverpool, like this 30-year target. So much energy goes into achieving that are you satisfied? How satisfied are you that you've achieved that? You've said, I've set out the goal. We did it. Like we've achieved what we set out to do.
Yeah.
And has that next goal been there from the beginning? Has the next goal been, okay, we're winning 3 titles in 5 years?
Yeah.
Or was the target we're winning 1 title in 5? We're winning 1 title in 30 years.
Yeah. And now it's done.
Now it's done. It's done, and it must be hard to I worry about the Springboks coming up. We won the World Cup, but what is our mentality now?
Yeah.
Are we the mentality of we're going to be world champions for the next 5 years, undisputed? Same as Liverpool. Are they planning on being undisputed champions for the next 5 years? It doesn't look like that's the mentality that they have.
It doesn't feel dynastic.
That's where I feel like there's a missing link, right? Is because, you had these fantastic 2 seasons, or 3 seasons actually, Champions League final 2 seasons in a row, Champions League win, Premier League win. You've had these great seasons, fantastic, but why did it only stop after 3 seasons? Why all of a sudden is there this struggle amongst the players? Yes, maybe, this season Liverpool have been absolutely plagued by injuries. But surely, like you say, there's this long-term plan that the higher powers have put together.
Sure.
Maybe there's not. Maybe that's the missing link. They look at it one season at a time, as opposed to, Pep Guardiola's Man City, who look at it 10 years down the line. You've got all of these superstars. Okay, that dude's now 34. We're gonna have to find a replacement for him this transfer window. So we have, you know what I mean? I think there's a missing link at Liverpool.
I think you've nailed it. My approach in life now, as I'm getting older, in anything, I would rather get out of a relationship, and professional or personal, a year too early. I never want to be a year late and then I'm resentful of what's going on, because the hardest thing Jurgen Klopp has to do now, or Liverpool Football Club, is the hardest thing in any business is to rebuild culture, right? Is culture, you have to be so deliberate about shaping culture. What you talk about. Excellence is a deliberate act. It's, people think you can just put a bunch of world-class talents together and they'll win. Ain't true. We've seen it. People don't realize.
They might win a tournament, but
Yeah.
are they going to set up long-term success?
Los Galacticos, the great Los Galacticos project, one league title. I don't know if people know that Zinedine Zidane only has one La Liga title, right? And everybody thought, geez, Figo, Beckham, Roberto Carlos, Mikel Salgado, Ronaldo, Raul, Casillas, one La Liga title. So for me, the Klopp thing, you guys, I think you've absolutely nailed. I love what you're saying. The culture thing of, again, Man City, and it comes back to a confidence thing. When you behave with confidence, going back to my relationship analogy, when you're behaving with confidence, you can plan long term because you're stable. You feel like, hey, we're winning and we deserve to be here, by the way. Like you said, Liverpool almost feel like, oh my God, we won.
Yeah. And I think the big question is going to be, what happens when City don't lose the title? They might look at that, and if you're looking at a 5-year plan and say, okay, we've got 3 titles in 5 years is what we're trying to achieve. Then when you don't get the title, and if you can still be on the plan, you could say, no, it's fine because we know next season and the season after that are the ones we're going for. We're expecting to not win 2 of these 5 years. So when we do lose, it's all part of the plan.
Yeah, cycle.
How is Liverpool going to respond to being the champions and then not winning? Not maybe where they're going to end up this season.
They won't be top 4.
Won't be top 4. How are they going to respond to that? Is it part of a plan to say, it's okay, we have catered for this and we are going to build ourselves up? Or are they going to crumble and say, what do we do now? Do we fire Klopp? Yeah. What do we do? No one knows,
James, your feelings hurt slightly by me saying you're not going to make top 4 and Rogan essentially saying you have no culture?
I think that Liverpool's culture, incredible. Mm-hmm. I think second to none. And yes, maybe I'm being biased, but the whole, Liverpool fan base and family is incredibly loud and heard throughout not just Europe's top 5 leagues, but the world.
Hey, passion doesn't pay the bills, though, James. I just want to tell you that.
So
if mommy hasn't told you, passion does not pay the bills.
That's what I'm getting to, right? Okay, so
listen, West Ham's a great place to go watch a game.
London
Stadium is a fantastic atmosphere, but are we bringing home the shiny bacon?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, fair enough, but I think outside of culture, that's where it comes down to the players and to our top 4 question. I think I don't see us coming top 4. I think maybe, like I said yesterday, bottom 5. So between 5th and 10th.
Yeah.
I think that's about as far as we're going to go this season.
Oh, I see you. There's heartbreak in your eyes.
It hurts.
And I'm not an emotional person.
As a former champion, current champion, it does hurt.
Wow.
But I think that's also something you had said just now, like triggered this thought, right? So City have this massive team. They've got superstars on the bench. They've got superstars on the field. They've got players to fall back onto if Gabriel Jesus gets injured. If anyone gets injured, there's a world-class replacement.
Yeah.
I don't think Liverpool have that in all areas of the field. And I think that's where it's a player's mentality. I think last season we were these mentality monsters. And now, I think the players feel like there's so much pressure on them. If they get injured, who's going to replace them?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's tough. Liverpool are dead, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I think
It'll
also
get you.
the Twitter poll, which is still live for another 2 hours if anyone wants
So, by the way,
to go and vote.
Cliff Central Sport on Twitter, you can go and vote. And what's the question there? What's the poll?
The question is, should Jurgen Klopp keep his job? Out of 4 votes, it's a 100% yes.
He should. All Man United fans. All Man United fans. There's no way that there's just Liverpool. I think you represent probably, it's like a 50-50 at the moment, if I'm going on social media, because I think social media is clearly an indicator of everything that's happening in the world, a great, accurate indicator. Hey, Rogan?
Sorry, I was thinking my own question.
Yeah. Oh, so it's about you, actually.
It's not the MKT show.
No. So I'm hanging out.
Sorry, let me respond. To your question. That's how this works, right?
Yeah.
This is your show, right?
No, sure. It's not like my name's on it, but let's not get into that. I'm too humble to bring that up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Thanks for just making the letters so it's easy for us to remember.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I got an after guy on the show. You got to dumb it right down. Yeah, so people know.
So what was your question? Social media.
Yeah, social media clearly being the most accurate representation of society all the time, and it's been vet checked.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. You can find whatever answer you want on social media, so you can never be wrong.
I've always thought, people keep telling me these big questions. Should I get married? Is love important? Does God exist? Go on Twitter.
Yeah. Whatever you want, whatever you unconsciously want the answer to be, go find your support.
Sorry, can we just pause it right there for a second? And I read this question just now on the YouTube.
Oh, by the way, let's take some questions. You can go onto Cliff Central Sport, put your questions in the live chat, and James may or may not be able to read it. Again, he went to after. I don't know if he can read. James, go ahead.
I'm smart.
Hey, you know what that sounds like? It's like if somebody tells you, no, you can trust me. Like I'm smart. If you have to tell me you're smart, Stephen Hawking has never had to tell anybody that he's smart. Like smart people have never had to say, "Hey, Malcolm Gladwell,
am a stable genius."
Yeah. Malcolm Gladwell has never walked in anywhere and said, "Before I get started, here is my IQ test."
Yeah.
Like if you were smart, it'll be.
If it's good to say it to yourself though, if you're like, "Hey, I brought that umbrella today. I'm smart."
There we go. But if you have to say it to me, you're doing that more for you than anybody. But James, don't let the after thing keep you down. Let's read the question.
Let's get to the question. Sorry, I paused you there for a second because one of the questions says, Umbulelo, I'm looking forward one day to the big reveal when you disclose what relationships have done to you. Because you do go on about relationships a lot. It's a lot of your analogies.
Hey, because relationships are important. We're social animals. What is there but relationships? Outside of 75-inch blue QLED screens, of course, if you're going to watch the football, that's obviously one of the major things in life. But
so for those listening, Umbulelo is saving up for the next 6 months and eating beans on toast for his QLED.
By the way, if you've got a 75-inch QLED that you want to send me, Samsung, of course. I'm not an animal. I live in the northern suburbs. I'm not going off brand. But if you do have a 75-inch QLED, I will take it, and I will take free stuff. By the way, I have no pride.
Okay.
So relationships, great. They're important, James. Hey, who's that cold person who doesn't understand that relationships will shape you?
Rickus.
Rickus. Okay. Do we have any more questions? Let's take a couple of questions.
We have 2 from very much earlier.
Cool. Let's answer. Yeah, let's answer.
Says, "Don't hate on me, James. That's actually my brother. He was teasing me about Man United."
Alrighty.
And then he asked on Twitter earlier, can we say one positive thing about Man United?
They're the biggest club in the world in terms of revenue.
There you go.
Rogan?
Oh, I have one. You go first. Though.
Yeah, who doesn't love Man United?
There we go.
We certainly do.
Mine is they wear a nice shirt color.
There we go.
Is my positive.
Red, powerful color.
Those are 3 separate positives. Those are 3
exactly different spheres.
And
right?
we didn't practice that.
There you go.
That just happened now. That was
exactly.
That was organic. A question happened live.
Exactly.
It's digital. We're in 2021. We didn't even plan that.
There you go.
3 things that are nice. My mum's never said 3 nice things to me. She's 34 years she's known me.
Maybe that's a conversation
No.
you should have.
Oh, is this off air?
No, I just feel like that maybe you should ask her why she's never said anything.
She's never been nice
Is
to
it
me.
the high energy? Have you worn her out? Are there patterns? Do you find every 5 years she's back ready to talk and then worn out again?
Maybe I'm in a football contract that I don't even realize it, and I'm not delivering.
Exactly.
Maybe I'm Bruno Fernandes.
You thought you got out of that football contract when you were younger. Still
Little did I know.
there you go.
She is a psychiatrist. These things, they will get you.
So people also want to know, has the Man United banter started yet? The train is never late. And then someone also said, yeah, and what about the Arsenal banter?
What about the Arsenal? We'll do the Arsenal tomorrow. I mean,
Okay.
that's a whole different beast.
Exactly.
I mean, that's malarkey. Huh?
There you go.
I mean, Rogan, you support West Ham. Let's have a go a little bit. The Gooners.
Let me tell you, losing a 3-0 lead, let me tell you, Aston Villa fans, Burnley fans, they're laughing at me.
They're laughing.
Probably.
You're laughing.
Probably.
You're laughing.
Who else have Arsenal lost to this season? Wolves fans laughing at me.
Laughing.
I think even Sheffield fans are laughing at you.
Laughing.
I want to have a look at the Premier League table here quickly. Rogan, your thoughts on Mikel Arteta and what he's doing at Arsenal? So are Arsenal just a joke, in your opinion?
Well, they keep hiring vampires as managers. That's a pretty funny
What
joke.
does that mean?
Have you looked? Just Google images of Mikel Arteta and
Unai Emery.
Unai Emery.
Yeah.
They are vampires.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm
That's
with
just
you.
the visual test.
I'm
Yeah.
with you. Yeah, for sure.
The aesthetics.
Yeah, they just would you be in a room in an alley with Mikel Arteta?
I wouldn't.
And Unai Emery.
Say no more. Hey, enough said on
Would you
Arsenal.
be at a masquerade ball with them?
I can't tell you I'd be in an alley with a lot of people, if I'm honest.
Yeah, but how many vampires do you know? Arsenal had 2. All right.
I mean,
they're on 9th. Arsenal on 9th place after 29 games, guys. They have 9 games.
Featuring the current Golden Boot striker,
Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
Lacazette's been cracking on.
He is cracking on. They got Saka.
They got Saka, he's good.
They got Saka, Laka.
I'd like to see what Odegaard can do because, and this is something I've seen with Jesse Lingard as well, is that, it's easy to say how overrated players are, but they at some point get noticed for a reason. And then they become overrated and then they get treated as if they're bad players. But when you actually see them, put them in another context, make them the focal point, you can see why they became noticed in the first place. Lingard, he is becoming the focal point of a team.
man is popping off.
And he's outstanding.
He's terrific, isn't he?
Because,
What's
as a youngster,
happening?
you grow up and you are, to become the level of a professional footballer, Premier League player,
Yeah.
Man United player,
Yeah.
you are the best player in every team you've ever played in until a certain age. Then you're suddenly not the best player anymore. How do you handle it?
Yeah.
So sometimes maybe you need to refocus. Odegaard, he made headlines when he was 15.
15. Real Madrid signed him at 15.
There was a reason for that.
Yeah.
Still like to see what he can do. So, Arsenal have got... Is this going to be an Arsenal conversation?
Cheapest creep.
Someone in the comments said that Unai Emery even has the accent of a vampire.
He is...
Yeah.
I'm not saying he has traits of a vampire. I'm
Yeah.
saying he is a vampire.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm saying he is
I thought
a
he
vampire.
certified.
No, we've addressed that. That's not a good comment.
I was
Whoever
just
that
going
was-
back to the
No, I'm
comment.
just saying that's a terrible comment because we've addressed that there is no room for interpretation there. Unai Emery is a vampire.
It's like,
I
if you
just
say
feel
to
like
me
he's
now,
not.
he's not a fan of garlic. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
that's not
that
news.
confirms it. But at this point, I'm still speculating. I don't.
It's pretty much confirmed. If I've seen it, I've always gone with this. If I've seen it, it's true.
Oh, I've seen it.
Plus, a friend of mine said it. There's no ways. That's 2 things.
Oh, so your sources are just 100% accurate.
Well, I'm a source. That's 2 sources.
Yeah,
Me
if I
with
write
my
it down, third source. Done.
eyes. And there you have it.
Okay.
And that's enough of the Arsenal. Do we have any more questions before I move on, James?
Oh, jeez, I missed quite a lot there. Umbelelo said it best. Lingard is fantastic because there's no pressure at West Ham. He is still not Man United quality.
Yeah, I think Rogan said that, but I'll take the credit.
Rickus said the only vampire in football. The only vampire in football is Suarez. He used to bite anyone within a 3-meter radius.
That's cannibal, though.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
still biting.
Yeah.
Are vampires cannibals?
Are they? Do they feast on the flesh, or are they
blood.
I want the blood.
The blood, and let's not
But-
forget, vampires are charismatic. They dazzle you with their eyes.
I'm-
and their,
I'm
their
on-
slickness.
I'm on Rickus' side for this one because he did bite. I think it was Ivanovic on the
He went for
shoulder
the
neck
nape. He went
area.
for the nape, yeah.
Yeah. No, he also bit a guy at Ajax, by the way.
He did.
So, but you haven't really answered the question here. Are vampires cannibals? We've moved past the fact that
Would you like me to see what Dr. Google says?
no. I mean, this
Okay.
is. I'd like your opinion. Since you're here, I can actually talk to you.
I don't think so.
Why? Why would you say that? Why don't you think so? That's
because
ridiculous.
if they were,
Yeah.
they would do more than just bite you on your neck.
Like
I
what?
mean, they would
Do you know cannibals?
not personally.
Well, let's get into it.
But cannibals eat people, right?
Okay, take me into it. They do more than biting your neck. Like what? What else do cannibals do, James?
No, I said they would do more if. No, wait, hang on, I'm confused.
Oh, terrible.
Vampires would do more if they were cannibals.
They would do more.
Oh, you
Yes.
talk about cannibal, but a cannibal implies eating one's own species. So a vampire cannibal is feasting on other vampires.
Answer that, James. James, you got no vampire knowledge. Why am I even asking you? I mean, get to the next
Sorry,
question.
I didn't prep my vampire knowledge.
But this is what we're employing.
Someone
here,
even says, surely you need to be human to be a cannibal by eating people.
right? Well, thank you, Rogan.
No, because
Nailed it.
If another species can cannibalize its own species,
Yeah. But
right?
by the way, I studied chemistry. Even microbes can cannibalize themselves. So please, that's a ridiculous statement. Read a book, whoever that is. Listen, this show is not a place where people are going to call in or send messages, and we're going to be nice to them.
I don't know how me saying that Unai Emery and Mikel Arteta are vampires is in any way controversial.
It's not.
I don't understand what's going on here.
It's the most reasonable thing I've heard this side of a global pandemic.
You know,
I think. Hang on. Andrew says a vampire would be a cannibal if they ate other vampires. If Arteta ate Emery, we'd see it.
And there you have it.
And then someone said this Liverpool fan is delusional. Thanks. That's
huge, James.
Ooh.
Man, that's tough, huh?
That's tough to take.
no, because are apes going to band together and be strong, and say give Klopp a chance, or are we going to turn on him? Steven Gerrard in his last interview said Liverpool fans don't want me as a manager. They want
I
Klopp.
saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Does he speak for Liverpool fans? Does he speak for you?
James, that's great. That's Steven Gerrard.
I
What have you done?
I would love to see Steven Gerrard. I would. I would. I would.
So you've just ignored the question that Steven Gerrard said nobody wants him as the manager.
I'm getting there.
Oh.
Okay. I think I don't think it's become a super hot topic just yet for him to be speaking for the fans. Like I said, would love to see him. I think a couple of fans, lots of
What is the
Liverpool
sentiment? Do the fans want Klopp to stay? What do the fans want?
I think overall,
What's the general sentiment in
yeah.
the air? Is
What's
is the conversation even happening with Liverpool fans?
It
is.
is.
Is this being imposed on the fans?
I think the general consensus is that Liverpool fans think that everyone else is sort of jumping to conclusions, and that Klopp should stay.
I just want to put it this way. After you won the league, with 9 games to go, you are currently, quick maths, 26 points behind Manchester City. So I think an overreaction would have been maybe if you were third. You're 26 points behind the league leaders. 26! That's quick maths.
Yeah, and you consider how tight every other position is from one another. 26 points.
5 points off the top 4 with 9 games to play. That's the reality at Liverpool right now. And it comes back to what was the 5-year plan? Because this should be a disaster. But it kind of feels like Liverpool fans are going, calm down. Like, could you imagine Man City in this position? No, it's impossible. Because for them, it's a catastrophe. Chelsea, what happened when people... Frank Lampard was in the middle of a season. Abramovich said, can't handle that. So I don't know. I think it's dangerous for Liverpool to be pandering to Jurgen Klopp if there isn't a bigger plan, to your point, Rogan.
Yeah.
Like, if you keep Jurgen Klopp now, you're clearly saying, all right, the rebuild is on. And he's...
Yeah, exactly. If it's okay to not win back-to-back titles.
That's what... Yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay to win the title and then be the worst champions that ever were.
You're not there
Is
yet.
that okay? No, what's
Chelsea,
the worst?
Chelsea,
yeah.
I
Came
was reading
10th.
about that.
Although Liverpool can do it still, because
We can.
Aston Villa are only 5 points behind them with a game in
And
hand.
let's not forget, are Liverpool playing Villa?
Oh, it's a good question.
We did, and we
Because
did. We lost
It was
7-2.
quite a result.
Yeah, last time with Virgil van Dijk and the
You
keeper.
see, even then, all right, early in the season, losing 7-2 to Villa, and already there was no warning signs. Everyone was like, oh, it's a fluke. But, I mean, is that how often do flukes like that happen?
Even
How
as a Liverpool
often
fan, I thought it
are-
was a fluke.
Everyone, there was no crisis management at that point. It was,
No.
we've lost 7-2 to Villa. It was 1 week. We'll be fine. that, I mean, is that the correct?
It isn't.
Is that an indication of this? What we're talking about of why are we pandering to Klopp? Why are we saying everything's okay?
7-2. Oh man, what a time to be alive, huh?
You hate to see it. You hate to see it.
I'm all right with it. I think Everton are going to finish above you. Any more questions there, James, before we move on?
Andrew Harrison says we don't want Stevie G for at least 10 years. Ed says I don't want to see Stevie as a manager yet. Much more experience required before he arrives back at LFC, because we want a player/manager success story. Don't want to be the next Lampard.
James, you ever dated your childhood sweetheart? Have you ever been in a situation where you met a girl who you like, maybe in primary school, high school, you loved her, and then you dated her? Has that ever happened to you?
I mean, I dated a girl in high school. If that answers
For
your
how
question.
long?
High school was a long time ago.
Oh, in high school?
Yeah.
Oh, and then you broke up.
Yeah, that was about it.
What happened? What did you do?
I don't know. That's the answer to the question.
That's tough.
I got
That
broken
is
up with
oh.
in a letter. And she saw me on the day to give me the letter.
Where? At school? Did you do it in public?
Huh?
What is the best way to break up with somebody?
It was after one of my matric prelims.
Oh my gosh! In the middle of exams.
Yeah.
Was the exam? Was that the end of exams? It was like exams are done.
No, it was after one of my exams that we had written.
So what did she say? Like, hey, let's go. Come to my house. I want to show you something.
So the day before, she was like, "Hey, like, can we chill tomorrow? I want to give you something." And I was like, "Cool, sick." I know where you're going with that.
No, please. Go
I was
ahead.
like,
This
sick.
is a trauma. This is a safe space, as you could say.
Yeah, I was like, sick, cool. I have an exam until whatever time it was, and then we can make a plan. And then we saw each other, and then she gave me back my hoodie and a letter, and she was like, "Don't read this until you get home." Yeah.
That's tough.
How did we get onto this? Just
That's
BT
tough.
dubs.
So you're at school now. You're crying, obviously.
I wasn't until I got home.
Oh, that's brutal. And
See,
she's
but-
never explained.
No, but, is she doing the right thing by saying he can handle it? He's got exams. Put his mind on the exams.
There you go.
Channel the rage into
There you go.
not geometry.
Or take that F to a G or G
Wait,
to the F.
this was
or
high
whatever.
school, not after.
Yeah, but still, I mean, you're on your way too, because obviously you obviously didn't channel the aggression. Otherwise, you would have gotten into UCT. Is what I think you're saying, Greg.
What I'm saying is that you're not channeling your rage into geometry.
Yeah.
Maths, you're channeling it into an after skill.
Yeah. All right, James. Let's take one more question and we'll move on.
I think we're actually all good with the questions.
All right, we're all done. with
I
the
don't think anyone wanted to have a say on my former love life. So
Oh,
I
that's-
think
but, hey,
where we
James.
are.
Okay, but you were saying that it's like going into a relationship with someone from the past.
Exactly. With
Like
Steven
dating
Gerrard.
someone in
Yeah.
primary school, you go back, you're at primary school with Puniso. Now now it's way later.
Well,
you
what's her name? That I went Qoniso.
Puniso.
Okay, I was Qoniso. Okay, cool.
Now it's years later.
I feel like there's an understory here.
Yeah.
You are trying to
She was 15, so I see her at Woolworths now because
Yeah.
obviously I'm working.
right now. You talk about Stevie G.
Yeah. Stevie G, I think that's what's going on, right? Is I'm telling you this because I saw it happen with a friend of mine. Obviously, it didn't happen to me.
Asking for a friend, right?
Yeah, it happened
Sure.
to a friend of mine. It wasn't me.
Sure.
But he dated his childhood sweetheart. And it's, once you start dating, kind of that experiencing somebody from far. Like Steven Gerrard now is a legend from far. Once he comes in-house, then there are expectations. And when you marry your childhood sweetheart, you're no longer a childhood sweetheart. We're married now. Like there are like the Sunday drinking thing when we met, that was cool. No. Steven Gerrard comes in-house now, especially. He's still learning. And then you expect it's almost like
Why, as a player, you are willing to watch them go through that learning experience? Stevie G didn't come on the scene at 17, killing it.
Yeah.
You have patience for him as a player, and so you're going to watch someone develop in the open.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
As a player, as a manager, you're in a similar position, but there's no patience. Like you don't give anyone the time to
mature. Oh, I just think the consequences are too widespreading. Like if a player's crap, you sell him. Who cares? Like that's one part of the team gone. Like if a manager's awful, like we're talking the difference between £800 million and £2 billion season.
Yeah.
Like, because now everyone's affected. You know, you've seen managers go wrong. You got to sell 6 people and reshape the club, and it's, you know, a bad season. If people are planning 5 years ahead, sets you back how long? So I just think my point is that I think the manager can, you know, you got to go because you're affecting 23, 25 people in the playing squad.
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes is good or crap in one season. The hell out of here.
Yeah.
We'll get a new one, you know. But it's a good question, especially when they're a homeboy, right? It should almost be like if Gerrard came home, 5 years locked in.
Yeah.
But is that going to happen? James?
Look,
Okay, let's say Gerrard comes in, right? Next season, comes 11th. No trophies, we're knocked out, second round FA Cup, Europa League. You get knocked out of the Europa League in the last 32. What do you do?
So I think, you see, it's always hard bringing in a new manager. There's always going to be those growing pains. There's always going to be those questionable results, like how did we lose to Sheffield United, or, you know, it's always going to be that way when you bring in a new manager.
Sure.
So I think, you know, if he does come in next season and he's like, you know, I'm here now, and it gets to the end of the season, we only finish, you know, 10th or 11th. I think it would be a bitter pill to swallow, but in my mind, I don't know how many other people think about it this way, but in my mind, you can't expect miracles overnight. You can't expect a new manager with new tactics to come in and, you know, within your first game or couple of games, you beating teams like City 7-0, 8-0.
Or Aston Villa even.
Yeah, even Aston Villa. I mean, you know, you'll see it in the results initially, and how the team plays. But I don't think if he does terrible in his first season, there's reason to, okay, cool, where else are we looking at? Maybe we should bring Kenny back in, or maybe we should bring in, you know.
Whatever it may be. So you'd keep him, even if Gerrard comes, thinks next year you guys are terrible, you're basically Arsenal, keep him.
I would. Probably not a lot of people think like that, but I genuinely would.
But
it's
why?
growing pains.
Why would you want to ruin Gerrard's career like that? Like, it's obviously going to be hard, right? Is in life, I never want to be the guy to follow the guy. I've always said.
Oh no, especially when you're following someone like Jurgen Klopp. You don't want to follow that.
No, fair enough.
I mean, not currently, but like.
No, at Liverpool. Imagine, like, Moyes was never going to win at United.
Oh, and he followed. He was directly.
So it was the worst job in football.
Yeah.
That was a bad move.
Broke him.
Bad move.
Did break him, and now he's doing it at the Hammers, and they're blowing bubbles again.
Oh, yeah.
Paolo is in the chat.
What does Paolo have to say?
He says, "I leave you for one day, and James gets a mic stand."
For those who don't know, James didn't have a mic stand yesterday. All right, listen, let's move it on to the game of. They say it is actually a game for gentlemen played by hooligans, and they say rugby is a game for hooligans played by gentlemen. All right, let's move on to cricket. I've been saying this for years. And I'm actually glad I've got Rogan here today. But let me give you my take. You know, the purest form of anything is always the best. The old adage, the copy is never as good as the original, applies here. For years and years, I've been saying cricket needs to get professional. And people tell me, yes, but people are playing IPL and they're professional. I've always wondered this. Anybody who wants to have a local business model makes no sense to me. And I will say this again, for those that watch the show, you know what I always say. Any sport, right? Any sport where the highest level of that sport is the international level is an amateur sport. It's an amateur sport where the highest level is international. What you've shown me is you have not evolved as an organization. I want everybody at home to think of any sport where the highest level is the international. Because in football, that's not the highest level. Club level, Champions League. Club level is the highest level. You know why? Professional. Because you know who builds the best products? Billionaires. You know who runs international teams? Administrators. And administrators are not in the business of improving things. Administrators make rules. And rules hold people back. There's a reason why the Premier League is what it is. It's because they don't have to deal with people at number 10 going, yes, but what about this? What about that? Is, hey, if there's £100 million fine, we'll pay it. We'll say sorry down the road. Administrators want to make rules. And who runs international rugby, right? Or international cricket? Administrators. And it is so poor. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. This idea that T20 cricket and one-day cricket are going to save the game is the biggest load of malarkey in the world. Because you're going to run out of cricketers. Let me tell you how I know. I've been watching cricket now since I was 6 years old. It's almost 30 years that I've been watching cricket. Folks, the rule is this. If you can play test cricket, you can play one-day cricket. And if you can play one-day cricket, you can play T20 cricket. Now let's reverse engineer that. This idea that if we find T20 talent, it's good for India, it's good for the world. By the way, if you can play T20 cricket, it does not translate to 50 overs, and it certainly does not translate to test cricket, right? The one model is consistent. And we're going to run out of cricketers if we keep developing guys for, quite frankly, a product that children are watching. Let me tell you something. I'm old. I've got money to go and pay $10 for a burger and $10 for a beer if I'm watching the cricket. Folks, stop making the business model for children because they can't afford to go to the stadium, and that's who T20 cricket's for. Let me be honest with you. They are not your customers. I am your customer, right? The 22-year-old at university who thinks it's cool to go and get hammered, they're getting hammered outside. Bad news for you, cricket people. Me, I'm eating inside. I'm bringing my friends. I'm bringing my family. I'm bringing my kids because I've got money. I can afford it. You know what I want to do? I want to sit on Saturday and Sunday and watch Test cricket. Stop making this world, right, for a business place that doesn't exist. This idea that T20 is the next thing is nonsense. Test cricket should be at the very center of cricket because clearly Test cricket is at the center, or international cricket is at the center of your business model. Do I agree with that? No. I think the IPL is a highlights package of what I was saying earlier. Let billionaires run the game, not administrators. Now, what does that mean? For me, the NFL and the Premier League have no competition. Here's the reason. And we're seeing it with the IPL, right? Is there should be, in the local domestic leagues, there should be clear organizations. Billionaires should own the teams. I don't want to hear about it. And listen, I lean left. And I can get a little whiny and social justice warrior at my best, right? I lean left. But in sports, I want to win. And you know who knows how to win? Billionaires. Every franchise in every established country. I can't say in other nations. But South Africa, Australia, England, India, every franchise from the 4-day franchise to the ODI teams to the T20 teams should be owned by billionaires. And what do we do then is we have championships in our country and then we have world championships. Nobody does it better than the Premier League. Nobody does it better than the NFL. What we're doing now is malarkey. I don't know, right? Also, investors like certainty. Nobody in cricket knows what's going to be happening in 12 months. What investment firm is going to want to invest in the ICC when I don't know if you'll have a product in 12 months? Because I don't know what you're doing. Hey, let me tell you something. NFL, I can guarantee you in February next year, book that weekend. First weekend, that Valentine's weekend, you know what's happening? The Super Bowl. By the way, next May, book it now. You know what's happening? It's the end of the Premier League and we'll crown a champion. We know that. Investment wants that. What is cricket's business model? Because I'm clearly not the target market because I'm 35. I don't want to watch T20 cricket all the time. I don't. And I'm your paying customer because I can afford cable television. I can afford to come and pay for my overpriced, freezing cold Boerewors roll. I can afford that. Right? These 22-year-olds who you think are your business model, it is malarkey. Stop letting administrators run this thing. Cricket is still in the dumps. And why are we doing this? And I'll finish off on this. The players are the victims. If you don't create revenue streams, which international cricket cannot, I'll tell you what, nobody in China can back Team South Africa. I'll tell you who they can back, right? Is the Highfight Lions. They can buy into a franchise. How do I know that? I'm getting a Patrick Mahomes shirt. I've got a Vikings shirt at home. I don't live in Minnesota, but I can back a team. Right? China, America, cricket's been nowhere. It's a parochial game, and we're doing that by making international cricket the focus, number one. But T20 cricket is diluting what I think is the height, the best version of cricket. If you're telling me international cricket's the best version, clearly Test cricket's the best. That is clear. Technique, mentality, the whole baggage. Specialists. Right, 6-4 split. When I say to you 6-4 split, that means I pick 6 specialist batsmen, a wicket keeper, and 4 bowlers. Those are all specialists. In one-day cricket, really pick 11 all-rounders. And if you got Virat Kohli or Joe Root and they're special like that, you stick them in there. I mean, what are we doing here? And I know it feels glitz, glamour. It's exciting. It's a product. Listen, it's fugazi. It is not the center of the business model because I am your customer. And don't leave me out. Where's the 5-day cricket? Where's the 5 test match series? That matters to me, and I pay for the sort of fiber and DSTV if you're in my country. I am your customer. Rogues, I know cricket's a big thing for you. Right? You don't hate cricket, hey?
I don't hate cricket.
Yeah, I've known
I
that.
love a bit of cricket.
Yeah, you will watch cricket.
Oh.
I once spent, I think, 2 weeks at your house, and we watched cricket for 2 weeks, basically.
Yeah, I wish we could do it more.
I did. Listen, times change. People get in relationships, James. This is what happens.
Relationships end.
They do.
They do.
During the exams.
During matric
And she
prelims.
never, ever explained. That is why. But your thoughts, Rogues, because I'm furious about the way
I
cricket
think
still is now.
cricket is a tough one, right? Because the professional franchise model, the exciting model that IPL is adopting, is more along the lines of franchise-based private investment models. It's more like the Premier League product, more like the NFL product. It's exciting. At the end of the day, it is. What is the best way to monetize Test cricket? Right. So, for you, what is the best experience of Test cricket? Like when you imagine enjoying the entertainment of Test cricket, for me, when I imagine enjoying Test cricket, I imagine it's Boxing Day. I've got a belly full of food.
Yeah.
I'm passed out on the couch. I'm sitting there and I'm not moving for 4 days on the couch watching it. Right. So now, how can we bring that into more of a monetized space? You know, sure, going to the stadium maybe for T20 or limited overs of some sort. You know, it's in and out. It's quick fire excitement. How do I make that experience of my favorite way of watching cricket? How do I make that valuable?
Yeah,
we get more people on board with that. You know, going to the stadium, test match, a day at the test match is fantastic. You know, it's unique in its ability to go and have a full day out and be relaxed and enjoy long-term tactical delayed rewards and long-term strategy. And, you know, it's unique in sport like that. Maybe other things like a golf tournament with multiple rounds over multiple days, you know, that can give you that type of excitement. But it's quite, I think it's a different model, and I don't know what the answer is. I don't know how do you make Test cricket the focus of cricket again? Because everything I like about cricket, the skill, the strategy, the pacing, the endurance, the changing conditions, adaptability of your players, all those sort of things, none of that is there in the most popular and monetizable form of the game. So those aspects, the things that I like about it, how do you monetize that in a way that makes it the core focus? Do you do away with everything else and say, if you want cricket, this is what cricket is? And will that grow it? How do you know, it's a culture. Are there enough fans of people that want to sit for long periods of time and enjoy the tactical approach and enjoy the unfurling of drama? You know, the excitement of cricket doesn't come from seeing the wickets or seeing the boundary. It comes from sitting through a tough period. Can we survive the next 45 minutes in these conditions? And what are the implications if we do, and what are the implications if we don't? You are playing the game in your own head the whole time. And that's what makes it exciting. You know, how do you turn that into profit at the end of the day? Is it about getting people into the stadium? Is it about just having no people in the stadium and having that story, maybe telling the story of the game unfolding, getting more people locked into that?
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're not going to be able to get people sitting on a Thursday or a Friday or a Monday or a Tuesday if you're doing a week, you know, 5-day test. You're going to need weekdays in there.
Yeah.
How are people engaging with that while they're going about their, I'm 35, I've got money because I've got a job. How do I engage with it all 5 days? I think there's a lot of it's in a difficult position. You know, it seems to me like a perfect holiday sport.
Yeah.
December holidays, test matches are on. Stunning.
June, it's freezing. They're playing overseas. No, thank you.
No thanks.
Yeah.
Also, I'm working.
I am.
You know,
I'm at work. I'm grafting.
so, you know, how do you engage with them more? Do you say Test cricket is all that there is? Is Test cricket, and it's also, would club Test cricket be the ultimate form of Test cricket? Or is there something that's not technical about the game? It's something about the 5-day battle against a rival nation.
So that primal,
It's that like
you have territory. It's
you
war by other means.
yeah.
Mm.
And yes, it happens in international sport. Some of the time, football, the passion's not there because it's too much of it. Rugby has it because, how many international rugby games are there in a year of substance?
Yeah.
There'll be maybe 5 or 6 big games a year. That's enough to get behind.
I hear you. Listen, I hear you on that. I think the tricky thing for me is I've been campaigning. Cancel international cricket. Because it clearly doesn't matter to people that are making rules. And if you're putting on more T20 cricket, because people are what they do, not what they say, you're clearly telling me what you care about. In fact, you're not telling me, you're showing me what you care about. Because if you want to know what people care about, ask them what they spend their money on, right? So for me, I've been saying, is why are we scared to cancel international cricket then? Because we're half in. We're clearly half in.
Yeah.
A 2-match test series is not a series.
No, what's the point?
How do you sell that to anyone? Now, I might sound like old man, get off my lawn right now to some people. Is how do you sell a 2-match test series to anybody? What's the product there?
Yeah.
Because it's meant to be about the swinging series, right? They won the first one. The second one, we came back.
And it can be a single session in a match that flips the dynamic of the series.
But clearly, you only want to do that twice, right? And also the length, like you said, that endurance, 5 test match series.
Yeah.
What it creates is the room for all of that drama,
yeah,
right? That we love in sport.
And you've got a team on tour. They're getting up to all sorts of off-the-ball shenanigans. Yeah. You've got
it's a product.
You feel the excitement when Australia is in the country for 2 months on this tour, and they're moving from town to town, and it doesn't. Why does it have to be in the big cities? When they'll have a test match out in Potch or Paarl, why not East London?
Yeah.
Exciting to bring that atmosphere there, and you feel when the players, and you see them around, you see spot David Warner at wherever he is, and you feel this long-term tension of how's this going to play out, and the rewards of Australia melting down in the country. I mean, what glory.
Yeah. Hey, leave the sandpaper at home.
Leave it at home.
But that's not possible without exactly what you're saying.
You need that long-term format. You feel like it's this battle of attrition, psychological battle of attrition.
We wore them
physical
down.
Battle of attrition. You wear people down over a series. And then even when they're 3 games down, they've got to come out on that 4th day. And what are they going to do? What are they playing for? And there's so much. I think cricket, more than any other sport, especially that long-form match and series format, it brings in a range of thinking into sports that you don't see, I don't think, in any other sport.
And I think to finish off, you've nailed it, is it goes right in the face of our current sort of microwave lifestyle, right? Is we are all now, oh my goodness, I ordered my watch yesterday. Why is it not here at 6 a.m. at my door?
Yeah.
Polished. We are all microwave lifestyle. Satisfy me now.
Yeah. But I get behind that on a club basis, or is that inherently linked to the national pride sort of, there's more going on here than simple entertainment, because if you take a half an hour of any, or 90 minutes out of any particular test match, it's probably going to be boring.
Yeah.
On average.
Yeah.
You can't take that snippet.
Yeah.
So what are the motivators? What is the pleasure? If there was if cricket was nothing but test cricket, we'd have that, I think.
And that's a good question, because you've been in a room where a Liverpool fan and a Chelsea fan from South Africa would be going at each other with violence almost,
Yeah.
just short of beating one another. So that's clearly not the what's stopping us. Is we will support. It's not a national thing for me.
Yeah.
Because look how we get about. Listen, I get upset when my NFL team loses. Like genuinely, if the Vikings lose, I've been supporting them for 15 years. I'm in it.
Yeah.
But they've sold it to me. They've narrativized it, as you've articulated beautifully. Is I think they're doing a terrible job with marketing. Like, it is a deliberate decision to put T20 cricket as the face of cricket.
Yeah.
There are people sitting in sanctums of ICC power that have said, no, this is what it is. Because I can tell you right now, if they did what you're saying, or maybe where I think you may have been going is, let's go back to the 5 test match tours and let's find a way to split revenues. IPL's a whole different thing, but we pull money from that so that the guys who play test cricket only are paid the same, or there's a premium to playing test cricket that we pull from IPL. IPL has to agree to have the product or whatever. It's not complicated to sort this out. That's a deliberate marketing decision, though, we're all in on T20 cricket.
Yeah.
And for me, I say, again, I know I'm not getting the best version of it. I know T20 cricket's not the best version, just purely on a technical basis.
Yeah.
Like, I know if I'm watching the best T20 guy, he's not Jacques Kallis. I know that.
Yeah.
I know that. I can see it. And also, I've seen how many T20 guys can't translate their game to Test cricket.
No.
I've seen that. So, Jacques Kallis could play every version. So it's like, okay, so am I getting the best version of this thing or not? And I think somewhere, even in all the excitement, it's like anything in life. You know, like you said, sometimes we need the toil.
Yeah.
Like, we know that as human beings, we are naturally drawn to toil.
Yeah, it feels earned. When you are watching the last session on day 5 of a test match where a series is on the balance, you know, it's not the product that's more exciting. It's not the bowling that's more exciting or the actual what's happening on the field. It's the story that is making it exciting. It's what's on the line. You know, it's how this whole month of tour is on the line.
Yeah.
You know, because you've been following this journey, and how's it going to end, you know?
And I think nobody does that better than the Premier League and the NFL, sort of framing everything as this drama, which it is.
It is.
Which it is. It is a drama playing out in front of us.
Yeah. And that's where, you know, the story of the stories that unfold over the course of a Premier League season they are the best storytellers in sport.
Yeah. No, couldn't agree more. And do you think we can rescue cricket? Do you think sometimes we need to just not be, hey, this is what it was like in my day? Do we need to move on? Do we need to embrace?
Cricket's a tough one because, you know, I could say a lot of the same criticisms with South African rugby, for example, yet I can see the path to South African rugby. It needs that style of marketing and professionalism. With cricket, I think it's a different beast. I don't think the same principles apply. I think it needs why does cricket exist? What is its core identity? And how do we expand on that? And how do we make that the focus? T20 cricket is not the core identity of cricket. So how do we focus on what is?
Well, hey, Brogan, well said. Well bloody said. Let's finish off on the game you were talking about. The oval ball. No cricket at after, huh, James?
No sport at after, surprisingly. They wanted
that
to
is not surprising.
What about sport photography?
Yes. What about that?
How do you mean, like picking it up as a job, or
no? Was it a thing?
No, it was all just like 1000% film school.
Could sports stories or figures be a good subject for film?
Oh, absolutely. I think absolutely.
Do you think they should teach that then? Because if that is a good thing, shouldn't you teach that? It's good for a 6-year-old to know what 1 + 1 is. We figured out that we should teach them.
There's similarities in the way you present sports and the way you present films. Or I mean, the technical crew. You've got the same technical crew. You know, a sports photographer or camera person is trained in the same way as a cameraman on a film, an action film cameraman. The skills, the equipment, similar. Why do you think there's such a big conceptual difference between sports as entertainment and film as entertainment?
Wow. I think so. It's a lot of what I'm about to say is going to sound like pretentious film school talk.
You went to AFTA,
but I did go to AFTA. Exactly. I'm
that.
Pretentious.
Go ahead. Please go ahead.
I think films are although, like you say, it's the same equipment, same sort of crew, and same sort of setup. I think films are special and unique in the sense that they tell a story that is relatable to anyone, regardless of your background or your sort of, you know, where you come from. Mm-hmm. In terms of sport, I think, you know, it can become relatable. You and me, for example. all three of us actually. You support West Ham. You support Chelsea, or Bayern. I support
Winners.
Well, yeah. I support Liverpool. I think, if we all supported the same team, it would be a different story. We wouldn't have a lot of the conversations that we had today. I think it would be all very much, Liverpool based. We wouldn't really touch base on, I don't think, Man United. But football as a general sort of thing has, it has the ability to bring us together, whereas films has the ability to bring sort of experiences to life. I don't know if that makes any sense. Probably not.
But I would say the other way. If anything, I'd say the other way, because the one thing why I stopped watching films was I know the ending of everything. The beauty of sport, and why I think it's becoming the biggest product on earth, is that, so a guy called Simon Critchley puts it beautifully. He calls football the working class ballet. And I think it's such a beautiful articulation. So he's a philosopher and he writes about football. But for me, hey, great question, Rogan. See, maybe you should have your own show. Obviously not this show, because this is my show.
Okay,
This could be your show. We could just rename it.
We should just rename it to A Show.
A show.
Yeah, this is A Show.
A show with the boys.
Well, who knows we'll be hosting. But I do
Just
think...
bring our own letters every day and stick it up on the wall. Bring an R.
Oh, don't bring a letter. You'll trigger James. He got broken up with the letter.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
So, anyway, James, I hate to harp on about it, but it did happen.
Everything hurts.
It's a process.
You
It's a
grow.
process.
What makes me upset is that the letter didn't add any clarity. So
No, it didn't.
Yeah,
it didn't.
deepened.
deepen the mystery.
It didn't add.
Have you ever spoken to the girl after the break?
No, and can I tell you what's really interesting, right?
Oh my God, yes.
It gets better. How much time do we have?
All the time. Don't worry
All
about
the time
your
in the world?
story. Yeah.
Okay. So this was a unique relationship in the sense that I actually had to. I'm not talking down on people that do this.
Okay. It
by
sounds
any
like you're
means.
going to. Yeah.
No,
With
but-
all due respect, and then you crap all over people. So go ahead.
This was a relationship where I actually had to ask the parents' permission to date her, and I get the whole sort of
That's pretty standard.
no, but it's not though,
Oh.
because we're from different generations.
Okay.
I think all of us are.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
So that is a completely new concept to me. I get it. You have to ask permission for marriage, probably.
Yeah.
And it's a respectful thing to do, and maybe that's how some families operate. But it was the first time and last time I've ever experienced.
So did you
something.
get the permission? that
I
you
did.
craved?
I did. I had to go on a whole walk with her dad.
How old were you?
I was in matric.
Oh, is that when you started dating?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. She dumped you with a letter, and you'd been dating less than a year.
Yeah.
Jesus. That's ridiculous.
And then what I did was I took the letter. So in matric, you get these time capsules, right? And then you give them to the school, and then you go back for your 25th reunion or whatever, and you open your time capsules.
So this
Oh
letter's
my
still waiting for you.
God.
No, I've read it, but I've put it in the time capsule.
Oh, my God.
And I think, I don't know how long ago. I mean, how long in the future it's going to be. But I think 20 years from now, James will read that letter and...
What if you're the president of a corporation by then? You probably didn't think that through.
What do you mean?
Oh, okay. Well, we found a letter in the time capsule. The head of ABSA, James, was...
No, but I open the time capsule. They don't.
Oh, I see. You got your own time capsule.
So we go back for a reunion, and
Yeah.
we all get our little boxes that we filled up. And that's just kind of how it works.
But that's actually going to be interesting to
It
see
is.
what insight you're going to have. in
Right.
that letter. I mean, in 25 years' time, you'll read that letter and probably be like, oh, she was full of shit.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. She'll probably have
Like,
four.
I've been thinking about this for 25 years. Actually, she was just being a bitch.
Yeah. She's
Or
being
maybe she's actually given you something. She's like, this is the reason, and it's actually something that has been a thread throughout the whole life, and that you finally have
Hey,
now
look.
experienced to look back and realize, holy shit,
She was right.
she was right all along.
Maybe it's selective memory. Maybe there was a reason in that letter. I don't remember there being one, or at least a valid one.
What, to break up?
Yeah.
That's tough, James. And you still don't have clarity. How do you sleep at night?
I'm okay. I was in matric.
Oh, but you just suppress it down. It's like going to become an ulcer. Yeah,
I felt that
Yeah.
extra breath and just push it
Yeah,
a little
just-
bit down.
Hey, you being a good 1900s man is what you want to do is with anything emotional, press it down, let it become an ulcer, and let it kill you when you turn 45?
45, yeah.
45, 50.
But also, take people with you. The nearest people
Yes.
close to you, you take them down with you.
Yes. Hey, get another girlfriend, bring that baggage with you, ruin her life as well. because you haven't dealt with a letter. And
Yeah,
I'm-
if you're conservative. Like we are.
listen, this has been unbelievable, Rogan. Thank you so much for joining us, dude.
Incredible.
Thank you.
You know, I think we're going to end the show there. And Rogues, you're a legend. This was awesome. We'll definitely have you back. I think.
Thanks for having
as
me.
a guest. No, absolutely legendary. Should we take one or two more questions before we let Rogan go?
None, actually. We've got one from Spikes also in the chat.
What a spike have to say.
He's apologizing to Paolo for giving me a mic stand.
Oh, all right. That's inside. Like, also, I want to tell people at home, right, is some stuff's just going to be for us. And I am self-centered, so I don't mind doing that.
It's true. His ego is huge.
Massive. Big head, big ego. That's what I've always said.
It's not that big.
It's not that big, but it's,
Not as big as you'd like.
yeah.
Size doesn't matter, right?
Well, I've never heard that before, but I keep hearing this from James. So on that note, Rogues, you're a legend. Jimbo,
Yes,
be
sir.
safe this evening. Whatever you get up to, try and keep it together. Remember, that trauma. You got to let it out somehow. Because it is going to cost you what? On your second marriage, that's going to come back to haunt
Why
you.
am I having a second marriage?
Oh, you haven't dealt with that trauma.
Is my first one not going to be successful enough?
Well, what do you mean? Successful enough? What does that mean?
Is it not just going to last until...
No, because you got the baggage from that letter that you got in a time capsule.
Oh, no, that is... Yeah, we'll just...
Yeah,
I'll
all right, on
stop
that note.
speaking.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Off the record kind of thing.
We've got old Jimbo Illingsley here. My guy Rogan Hill, absolutely brilliant to have him in. And my name is MKT. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the MKT Show for today. We are the hell out of here.